Ryan. How are you doing?
Good morning, Shawn. I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to my team practice later today with the Down East Dirt Dogs.
Nice.
We're gonna we're, we're gonna do a little trail work.
Uh how's
It's
your
been a little
weather?
windy around North Carolina of late.
Yeah, we've had rain, horrible wind, freezing conditions, torrential rain. It's been up and down. We had a school closure for due to flash flooding. So it's been it's been a week for sure. Our trail, I'm sure, needs a lot of attention.
Yep, someone went to scout it, and there's some stuff down, so we're gonna go pick it up before we ride it.
We're in one of those cycles where it's before we're like, well, we should get out there and take a look, and then we look at the weather and we're like, we probably need to wait until after this storm rolls through because it's going to do something too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's there. Well, you got. I feel like this is some really big news to lead off with for the start of the new year. And I'm going to let you. This is something that we've talked about for a long time, and there's been work in the background, and I think it's a huge step forward for us. So why don't you kind of tell people what's going on?
Yeah, what a great way to start the year in our eighth season as a league, and the big news, which will go out in an email tomorrow. So we'll probably release this podcast about the same time, releasing the email, a couple social media announcements. But as of 1 January of this year, North Carolina is now a chapter league within NICA. This league started 8 seasons ago as what they call a project league. So it's kind of get on your feet and get up and running. And the whole goal is to evolve and mature into a more robust and capable league. Within the NICA construct, they call that a chapter league. That means a couple things for us. One is just a sign of the continuing maturity and evolution of the league. That's all good. But three things really come with being a chapter league. One is strategic direction and oversight. And so we have a board of directors here that gives me and all of us a little bit of oversight and strategic direction for where we want to take the league. That board has actually been in existence since about the summer of 2022. Getting up and running and starting to think about how we put together all the paperwork for chapter status. And many of the people around the league know our board members. Heike Biller is our president, Jeff Cathy is our vice president. And you can certainly go to our website at our, about us page and look at all of our board members. But those folks have been working for about the past year and a half to put this chapter league together. And again, it's to provide some strategic vision. You can find that on our website too. What's the vision of our league? We want to grow to 3,000 athletes here in North Carolina. How are we going to get there? So putting together some plans to do that, a year by year growth plan. That's what the board is currently thinking about. And just keep tabs on me, Shawn. Make sure I'm not going too crazy doing what we're doing here in North Carolina. So I think that's all good. And thank you to the board members that are there trying to put that together. And I'll just say, if anyone's interested in serving in that capacity, then give us a shout. We certainly will need to rotate board members about every 3 years per our bylaws, which are now official. And so that's all good. I think the second thing, Shawn, is we are an incorporated entity in North Carolina. So we are our own 501(c) corporation here in North Carolina. We'd been kind of riding the coattails of NICA's 501(c) status for a while since our existence, but now we are our own entity. And I know oftentimes we have a lot of folks ask us, hey, how can I support you? Are you a nonprofit yourself? I like supporting a North Carolina entity. We are that now. And so that might provide us just a little more flexibility in bringing in partners or sponsors to the league, and that is certainly a good sign. The third thing I'd mention to everyone is this does not mean we're leaving NICA. we Chapter leagues are still a part of NICA and the organization, so we get to benefit from their leadership, their structure. I call it structure, but you're very familiar with this, Shawn. Coach training and licensing and policy, and all the goodness that NICA has done to kind of standardize how we do business, which is very good to have when you're an organization, particularly when you're growing, something to fall back on. In terms of standards and policy and all that's all good. So we are still a part of NICA. We're not, leaving NICA or anything like that. We still get to benefit from all of those things. So congratulations to everyone, honestly, in the league. This is like, Shawn, like it takes a village to run this thing. And so everyone from the coaches to the volunteers to the staff members, I stepped in a year or so ago. Like, this is great. This is all 8 years of hard work. that have gone in to get us to this point. So thank you to everyone, and congratulations to everyone. You should feel good about that, being part of this league.
And not just that, but kudos also to NICA. I was at the Philly Leadership Summit that they sort of introduced this new way of helping leagues move to chapter status. Before it was a little bit unclear and kind of on I think, an individual case by case basis how they were working, and then they really sort of had a formalized approach that we were introduced to in Philadelphia, and that's sort of where the impetus to get the ball rolling. It was like, okay, here's the pathway. Like we can follow this path. And so kudos to them for kind of helping streamline this process and make it easier so that we could become a chapter league. And I think that's going to be a great step forward for us for all the reasons that you said. And I think it's indicative of how we are growing and helping us move in the direction that we want to be. So excellent. That's great news.
Yep, very solid stuff, and just launched yesterday. As a matter of fact, part of being part of this league is showing and representing, being part of this league. So we've had league gloves go out. We've had merchandise for the season. Just yesterday, shout out to the coaches, a coach jersey, Podium wear, one of our league sponsors. That we're reviving the coach jersey, even a new coach shirt, so to speak. And so
And shorts. Those
and
shorts are
and
calling my name.
just in time for winter, right, Shawn? A pair of baggy shorts to wear. But yeah, I think those that have been part of this and are proud of this league, being able to wear some kit, so to speak, and what a great recruiting tool too. I get asked all the time. I've got the logos on the side of my truck, and sure enough, any bike parking lot, usually someone's coming around, hey, what's that all about? So yeah, it's nice to be part of this league, and very happy about our new status.
Excellent. And I think it'll be clear too for any potential sponsors. Like, it was always a weird conversation of like, we're not our own 501(c)(3, but we have a pass through with this other national organization. So yeah, it's definitely comes up in conversations with potential sponsors, and it can be a little off putting, but now it's very clear cut being our own nonprofit. I think that'll be open up a lot of doors for sure.
Yep, I think so.
Awesome. Well, then, kind of continuing on this train of possible good news, like 2024 awards. I think you've been teasing a lot, and you kind of want to talk about things that you've got in line for this season with awards.
Yeah, we certainly want to reward and recognize the accomplishments of our student athletes, certainly, but even some of our coaches, volunteers. We want to do that throughout the season. And I would say very similar to last season is our general awards guidance. But I posted it yesterday on the website, shot a note out to all the team directors and head coaches. I would just recommend everyone go to the website and take a look at that tab. It's on the event results page. Big tab, awards guidance, because there's a lot of it. We're trying to, like I said, Shawn, trying to recognize a lot of the good stuff that's happening across this league, across all types of categories and programs and the like. So there's a lot of it. I thought what we might do here, just highlight some of the changes from last year, maybe some of the new things that are going on. So let me start with racing, because there are a couple new things going on this season. For our regular five, season events, the races, so to speak. Generally, same type of thing. Podiums for the top five in each category, and we'll award a leader's jersey for who's got the top points for there. But new for this year, and thanks to league sponsor Ridge Supply, any student athlete that gets on a podium this season is going to get a pair of special podium socks designed by Ridge Supply. So if you get on a podium this season during those five events, you get a set of podium socks, which is pretty cool. And then also new for this year, we are running a state championship. So that is a qualifying state championship, and the criteria for that championship is in the awards guidance, but let me describe it here. So in order to go to the state championship, you need to finish in the top 30 spots of your category. That's the first criteria to get you to the state championship. And then additionally, if you place in the top 20 of your category during any two of the regular season events, you get a spot into the state championship. And we did that second category, Shawn, if you recall the dialogue we had with the league staff on that. we recognize that some student athletes can't get to every race for whatever the life circumstance is, other activities, parents can't get you there, whatever the case may be. So we thought, okay, let's give an opportunity for folks that can get to at least a couple of them to get into the championship race. And so that's new for this season, the state championship. The qualifying criteria is new. We will still have season leaders, though. So whoever the top point earner is over those 5 regular season events, they will be deemed the series leader as well. We'll award those at the end of season event 1 and 2 June. We're going to do most of our awards at the end of season event 1 and 2 June, just to not cram them all into that last weekend, so to
Awesome.
speak. So yeah, that's kind of what to expect out of the racing category. A couple other our programs awards. We did Teen Trail Corps awards last season. We will continue to do that this season, but a couple extra things. And boy, we're doing pretty well, Shawn. 3,000 hours is our goal. We're just shy of 1,100 hours as of today, middle of January. So we're well on our way. But any student athlete this season is going to be a little bit different. If they put in 3 hours, they get a race plate sticker to put on the race plate. Pretty cool. 5 hours now earns you the T-shirt. People might remember those from last year, the Trail Radvocate T-shirt. So that's a 5 hour threshold. And then new for this season, 10 hours of trail work. Any student athlete gets a nice pair of gloves from Cognitive MTB with a custom design on them. And we do intend to give those out at the end of our regular season events. So if that student meets that threshold by that event, we'll bring them up on the podium. Hey, great job. Thanks for putting in the trail work, and recognize those student athletes. And then special event, which we have the word out, but Trail Week is coming March 18th through 24th. Our goal is to put 1,000 hours of trail work in that week. And given our numbers, if every student athlete, every coach puts in an hour that week, we're there. And then so the top team that puts in the most hours is going to get a pizza party from us, and any student that does an hour gets an additional race plate sticker for the race plate. So pretty cool.
And speaking on that, like my local Sorba chapter, the Northwest North Carolina Mountain Bike Alliance, they had scheduled a trail work day for our local trail the week before Trail Week. And I contacted their coordinator of dates, and I was like, can you push that 1 week? Because if you'll push it 1 week, like that's our trail week for North Carolina Interscholastic Cycling League. And that'll really be like good fortuitous timing. And he was like, absolutely. And so he changed, it's early enough that they can push those things. So look at what your local chapters are doing and see if you can get alignment with your local trail so that you can kind of benefit from those extra volunteers coming. Because remember, on those days, you can get the benefit of those extra volunteers and their hours that they're putting in. So
Yeah, I think we've got pretty good relationships with certainly the Sorba chapters. I know there's some others out there across the state, and so yeah, I do encourage the teams to stay connected, with their chapters and do that work together. And then the last one I'll highlight in the awards is our adventure passport. Let me mention here, passports are coming. Shel Frost, our programs director, has strategically placed the adventure passports around the state with our coach supporters. So come 21 January, when registration closes, we'll know our numbers, and then those people will start distributing passports to the teams that week. So kids can get their hands on them, start accomplishing the activities, all a way of saying those students that accomplish all the activities in the passport, at the end of the season, they'll get a special prize, a uniquely designed water bottle. And thanks very much to the Right Gear. Matt Hartman's bike shop is a sponsor of that special prize of the Adventure Passport. So keeping it local here with some local North Carolina business support. But yeah, it's kids that finish all their Adventure Passport activities get recognized at the end of the season. That's pretty cool. And you know this, Shawn, because you're married to one of the adventure committee leaders there, Golden. But they are working on a passport activity to do at each of our events this season. So there will be something for student athletes that come to our events on the weekend to accomplish in their passport. And that's really appreciate the adventure committee doing that for us this season.
absolutely, absolutely. That kind of brings us, like, we talk about these people, and you know names can be familiar, or at least you've seen people doing things at the races, but you don't necessarily know who they are. And so one of the things that we want to start doing on our YouTube channel is a kind of faces of the league uh, spot where we sort of highlight some of these people who are working not necessarily behind the scenes, but who are putting in the work and not necessarily in forward facing positions like you and I and Shell are, and kind of letting you see their story, like how they got into NICA, um, why they continue to put in the time. My wife and I both are in the position of our son is no longer participating in NICA. He has sort of moved on from it. He's in his senior year of high school, and he's working and doing all these things. And so we continue to do this, and there's a reason why. And well, why is it that people like us continue to do things with the league after their kids are no longer around, or some of them have never had a kid involved in the league? It's just something they strongly believe in. So we want to highlight those stories, and that's something that we are trying to kind of build out our YouTube channel and make it more. In addition to this Faces of the League, like we're going to start trying to do some race coverage so that we are kind of giving some airtime to all the amazing things that happen at a race, and really sort of doing a highlights package for each of the races so that you can see what a race is like. Hopefully kids can get excited about seeing themselves on videos and things like that. So at the end of this, I'll be putting a subscribe button probably over Brian's face, and then a suggested video over my face, and that way you won't have to look at us at the very end as we regale you with dad jokes. But to encourage you to hit that subscribe button, that's going to be really important. We want to make a big push for that. That's going to help us out, and help spread the word of what it is that we're doing. And we want to be able to use this as sort of a recruiting tool as well. So when you run into people and they're like, well, what is North Carolina Interscholastic Cycling League? What is NICA? You can point them to our YouTube channel, and they can kind of go down that good rabbit hole of like finding out some rad things that they can do with their kids on mountain bikes. So be on the lookout for that. We released one already with Shell Frost, and we'll be doing some more as we go through. And you can sort of start to see a lot of the faces that you have seen maybe at races, and understand their stories and why they do what they do.
I'm going to give it my best effort to get that up on the website this week, Shawn. Just been thinking through the best place to put that in the about us, or maybe in the coaching section, something like that. But yeah, we'll put a spot on there so you can always find it on the website, whoever the latest Faces of the League is. And you mentioned it. We come to this organization with a lot of reasons, and our NICA why and the like. And it is a good recruiting tool. We've got some spaces to fill this season. I'm thinking announcer specifically, and I think a lot of folks in the league know Aaron had stepped down last summer, and that man's irreplaceable, right? There's no one else like Aaron per se. But then we found another announcer who was interested. Hey, sounds pretty cool what you're doing. And then he just let me know last week that the change in job, just he doesn't have the time anymore. So flash, we're looking for an announcer. Anyone out there, if you know someone interested, let us know. But anything, we're always looking for folks to help out at the league level. We want to build a good bench, so to speak. We're growing. Maybe there's conferences in our future, right? Like we never have to split the staff in two. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I think this is a good way of just saying, hey, this is the impact you have on kids and families, and it's just awesome and being part of it. So thanks for putting that together, Shawn. I'm looking forward to that series.
I'm looking forward to talking to people for sure. Like I'm excited about it.
And yeah, and whatever logo you decide to put over my face, Kathy, my wife, will be a big fan just because she's not digging the beard currently. So that's just fine. It gets her vote of approval for doing that, I'm sure.
Well, she'll learn to love you in your new hirsute way.
Yep, 27 plus years of learning to love this guy. Yep, that's
If she's like my wife, she's like, I really like it when you have a beard. Don't like kissing you though. So it's like, so you want me to have a beard, but then that means that you're never going to kiss me because I have a mustache. So okay, cool.
it's your own challenge by choice. And that's our
Exactly.
burden to bear, Shawn.
Exactly. So and you have some other announcements. You've got a new sponsor that you want to talk about, and this one's pretty exciting because I got a random email, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So why don't you announce this one and let us know what's
Yeah,
in
I
store?
think, back to the beginning, chapter status and North Carolina entity, and we love support from North Carolina businesses and the like. And this is another one. Industry Nine came on board as a sponsor last season, and folks might remember them. They did some nice things for us. Offered a wheel set to the league, and we use that to incentivize our economic impact survey participation. The winner of our random drawing for the most survey submissions won a nice set of Industry Nine wheels, and so they're onboarding in this season. Very appreciative of that. But they have new for this season offered a coach discount. So if you're a level 2 or level 3 coach in this league, they have offered 4 wheel sets at a fairly significant discount for you to sign up for. And we push the instructions out via email of that. If you're a coach and you're listening to this and you're like, what are you talking about? Let us know. We'll get you the info. But basically, you order kind of your wheel set online, set it all up, screenshot it, send it to the sales force there at Industry Nine with your coach license, which is downloadable from Pit Zone. And you qualify for that discount. So thank you very much to Industry Nine supporting our coaches. Coaches, the lifeblood of an organization, like we talk about a lot, Shawn. And a nice way to recognize them and all the support they give to getting more kids on bikes. Really nice touch from Industry Nine.
And that discount is available to level 2 and level 3 coaches, correct?
Level 2 and level 3 coaches. Yep. I think in this is what's nice. This is all community and relationships. Jacob Magahi, who helps lead the Franklin School of Innovation team, is vice president of Industry Nine. He understands the time commitment, the resource commitment to be a level 2 and level 3 in this league. He thought that was a nice way to recognize that investment of time and resource is by giving back a little bit to them. So fantastic deal for our folks.
And to just piggyback on that just a tiny little bit, we will be putting out the information for registration on the fall 2024 trainings for WFA and OTBS 101. So all level 1 coaches right now, like, you will be seeing the opportunity to start getting the training to become a level 2 for next season. And that will happen beginning in August of this year. But we're going to put the registration links for those up much earlier than we have before. We're going to put them up here in the next month or so that those registrations can happen. But while you're still stoked, you're enjoying the league, and keep it front of mind for you whenever we go into that training, because that's been something that has been missing a bit, is that we're asking people to register a little bit too close to the events. Plans get in the way and things like that. This way it gives you an opportunity to kind of pick and then plan around it from there. So be on the lookout for that coming soon. All right. Let's talk about events, because I think that's really the next thing that's looming. We've got a couple of updates. We are kind of a little bit low on our student athlete registration. We started out really strong. I think we got a lot of student athletes registering earlier than they had before because of the adventure events. But we've kind of plateaued at less than 800, which we've been almost 900 for the past 2 to 3 seasons. So a little bit of a dip. And that's as of yesterday, I believe, that you pulled those numbers. And, if you're seeing things, coaches, if you're seeing things that are sort of indicative of a drop in participation, kind of let us know, like, things that you're hearing or seeing that's maybe something that we could address, or something that we need to be aware of to sort of deconflict and possibly make it so that more people can join. That would be very, very helpful. You can email myself or Brian and let us know that, so that we can sort of take that into account and as we start to plan for next season, for sure. Anything you wanted to add to that, Brian?
Yeah, I'm always looking for the data or the assessments. Again, there's some of our analysis over last summer says we have about a 3,000 athlete potential here in North Carolina, and that's what we're building back to that strategic plan and vision. That's what the board and I are putting together a year by year. How do we get up to 3,000 student athletes? So yeah, it's a little concerning. We'll see what the rest of registration season holds, but that we've kind of dipped a little bit in our numbers. Interestingly, about the same dynamic NICA writ large. from about 2 years ago. Their numbers have decreased a little bit across the entire nation. And some reasons for that: less high schoolers playing sports is talked about a lot. And we see that in this league. Our middle school numbers are higher than our high school numbers. A lot of, I don't want to call it distractions, but a lot of things high schoolers can get into. Different pursuits. I mean, you mentioned knowing yourself, Shawn, right? Like, hey, found some other things. He's working, understandable. But I think there's still untapped potential here in this state. And so I'm curious about how we get after the untapped potential and posture ourselves to get opportunities for kids to get on mountain bikes. That's what we're all about here. But just as a means of what's going on for the rest of the season, yeah, we've got our regular season registration deadline coming up in a week. 21 January is kind of normal, registration deadline. I don't suspect we'll register 150 athletes within that week to get us back up to our normal numbers. So perhaps it's fortuitous that I created a late registration period for this season. So after 21 January, for $10 more, you can still register up till 23 February. And I did that because of what I saw last season. Oh man, I forgot, and it was Heike and I for about a week or so opening pit zone again with National, and that was a little bit of a mess. And I think a lot of our teams aren't really starting until right about now with their practices and getting the team together. And I think there is an opportunity for some, call it last minute recruiting, kids talking to their buds at school and like, yeah, I had first practice today and it was awesome. When you come out and check it out. So it's going to open a little more opportunity for folks to maybe get a few more kids in. By the time we really have to kind of close the books before Browns Creek and our first event, get all the race registration files set up, all those type of things. I would just mention two aspects of 21 January. One, coaches, please look at your athletes, and if you think a category petition is in order, please get that in this week. So we can rack and stack that, make a decision, because we order our race plates with names on them right after 21 January. We just need that much lead time to get them there before Browns Creek. And so, yeah, 21 January is pretty important to get your name on your race plate if you're a student athlete. So, yeah, take a look at that this week, coaches, and let us know if you got any petitions coming up. So me and the rules committee can take a look at those.
Right on. And I think, let's see, talked about season registration, talked about events registration, Grit Mentor applications. Those are going to close out on the 22nd of January, as well as the Grit hoodie ordering. And if you haven't seen the Grit hoodie in social media, like shout out to Skylar, like that. I really like that design. That was a great design. So pick one of those up. Remember, Trail Week is going to be coming up in March. That's the 18th through the 24th. So plan accordingly. And you can contact Leonard Van Hoos for any info on that. And then we're going to be working to get volunteer signups and camping registration out to the home teams by the end of this month. So we are going to be continuing pushing forward with that home team concept. And, I think an email was sent out that kind of listed the rough draft of the home teams. So definitely take a look at that and see, if there's some feedback you want to give Diane and Jenny. And they've been working really hard on that. So make sure that they are aware. Maybe if you think one race venue is closer than the one they put you at or something like that, let them know. That will really help, and they can kind of rejigger and finalize that, and it'll be much better. All right. So anything else you need to share?
I don't think so at this point. That was a pretty good status check. Just like you mentioned, working to get, home teams and camping registration open. I suspect by the time we're talking next month, Shawn, it'll be a focus on here's what we're doing during those events. Here's when you come to Browns Creek, here's what to expect in terms of race course and some adventure programming and the like. The committees have been working really, really hard on those things, including the race committee. Even though our overall numbers are lower, we still have some big categories. Middle school boys, huge, got to break those up in the fields and figure out how to manage the wave schedule for Sundays. We're going to take a little bit of time on that this month to make sure we have that set. And then we'll start populating flyers and posting on websites by early February so folks know what they're getting into. So pretty exciting. Get it started here again.
Yes, definitely. I think I may have missed a few coaches' emails. I think a few people emailed me and I didn't respond. Just to kind of put it out there, I've been very sick, so if I haven't responded to you, I apologize. And you're probably buried in my email inbox, and so I don't know if I'll ever find your email, but I apologize. I've been very out of it for a while, so we kind of pushed the podcast taping to today to kind of accommodate my illness, and I appreciate you, Brian, for your flexibility on that and pushing forward with it. So apologies if I did not respond to something that you sent me. All right. It's that time. I'm gonna cover our faces probably about now so that people can get a break. But I'll let you lead off with your dad joke for the day.
Well, like I mentioned, I told myself coming into 2024, I'd do a lot better at a lot of things. You know, I'll update the website more frequently, and so I still owe you getting the faces of the league on there. And it's all, part of that, why we do it. It's every year, that New Year's resolutions things. And do you know why New Year's resolutions aren't necessarily effective, Shawn?
Uh why?
Because they're essentially just things that go in one year and out the other.
That's terrible.
Well, I know people got through this whole podcast just to hear that gem.
So my dad joke is themed around my team. We're the Black Bears, and so uh, what do you call a toothless bear?
Oh my goodness. Just the mental image is funny one, but I don't know, Shawn. What?
A gummy bear.
Ah, yeah, sure. Of course. Also a good trail snack. So very well done.
So Michael Eastwood, one time he asked me on the podcast what my favorite trail food was, and I said it was whatever he was carrying. Um, because he noticed that every time we rode together, I was always like, "Hey, can I get some of those?" And so he started bringing gummy bears. He would mix his gummy bears with beef jerky, and so he kept bringing a separate bag of gummy bears that was like my bag to bum off of him. So he was like, "Here's the non-beef jerky flavored gummy bears," and those were for me. So he was sort of my domestique on mountain bike rides.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
See you, everybody.